And we're back. Hello. Welcome to the Hypertrophy Odyssey chapter 38. Today it is the Quadzilla leg day. Oh my god. Am I going to actually call this one Quadzilla? Probably not. We're going to have to do another week of kicking that can down the curb. Even though I would like to this week, I don't want to have 2 episodes in a row about Godzilla. 1 and 2. Actually, it wouldn't be in a row. But 2, I think today, since it's going to be a longer drive, I'm going to the other gym. I'm gonna have a little bit of more time to talk about certain subjects. So I figured the last time I did something like this, I was talking about programming being the king. You know, that was the main key of most workouts, you know, and that I really believe programming is 80% of working out. Basically, if you don't have a program, what are you really doing? You know, I think maybe we should talk about the other key element of it, because there is a key element to programming that I think mostly everything else works with that as well. Depending on what you're putting yourself into, you know, it depends on whether or not it's your hobby or something like that. I think a lot of it is consistency. The consistency is the extra key to make fitness work, and most stuff in general to work. So, for example, even something like this video right here, I'm consistently making these videos. At least I'm trying to, Monday through Friday. And although it has been a little tough every once in a while because some of the editing has been taking a little too long, but I still try to get them consistently out on a regular basis around the same time, even though, holy shit, this just happened. Oh my god, hold on. Huge accident right now. Holy fuck. Wow. Okay. I was gonna talk about consistency being key, but yeah, you can. Oh, there's the cop. You can hear the cop most likely in the background because yeah, that's a serious accident. Yeah, wow. Oh, yeah, here comes the fire department. Oh, man, it's yeah, like I said. Back to the subject matter at hand. Consistency being key. Sorry about that little interlude. I was not thinking that there would be a giant accident right in front of me, like had just happened. That was kind of crazy. So, consistency being key. I think some of this comes along with the fact that I've seen some people when they want to make online content and stuff, there is no consistency when it comes to it, and I understand why, because sometimes making videos is not easy. It is not something that is, one, it comes easy to people, but two, also the amount of time that it takes to sit down, record, edit, and then put it out there. It can be very time consuming. In fact, some of these videos, the recording time might be like, technically you guys will see it in like 20 minutes, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, depending on how much of the rant or the car portions are, / how long the actual exercises are. So it all just depends. But let's say I record all of my workouts in their entirety. So I record every set and everything. So I record technically about like 2 to 3 hours worth of footage before I cut it down into these 15 to 20 minute segments. So it all just depends on what it is. And then I would say it takes me about like 3 to 4 hours to edit it all down and then do the thumbnail and all that other stuff. So it is a very time consuming thing. So I understand why it's hard to be consistent with something like this. And also consistent with the gym, because the gym is something that takes a lot of, well, one, energy, and two, what is it? It is time consuming, I'm not gonna lie, but it doesn't have to be necessarily time consuming, but it is something that will take up your time if you are not good with time management. So the thing about it is, though, and I think this is something that I personally believe in, that, well, you can generally see it. I think Rich Piana said it best. The more you put into it, the more you get out. And it's true. The consistency, regardless of whether or not you're going to the gym, or you're constantly on your diet, or you're constantly putting in the effort on your whatever you want to do for social medias, that will always determine whether or not you're doing well or you're going to be successful, which sucks, particularly for social media, because social media is a very fickle thing, because things can change on a dime and you don't even know it. You are at the mercy of those who are in charge, aka the giant conglomerates that own the actual media, platforms themselves. So you might be hot shit one day and then the algorithm just decides we don't like you anymore because you said a naughty word, you know. So that is the tough part about something like social media or anything like that, where it's fickle. The thing I like about the gym or anything like physical fitness or something along those lines is that at the end of the day, there's not going to be a person that is gonna change what's happening, if that makes any sense. There isn't gonna be a third-party platform that's gonna all of a sudden be like, sorry, you cannot go to this, you cannot do this certain workout anymore. That person technically is yourself. It's different because at the end of the day, the only one that could really change you is you, right? And if you're consistent and going along with it, obviously you're gonna adapt to new things. Your body's gonna adapt. Your body might not like a few things that you do, but realistically, you can't really have anybody to blame but you. Social media can screw you. Things like society in itself can kind of screw you. But going to the gym and getting healthy and working out is something that nothing really could screw you besides extreme measures, obviously, that are out of your control. Like, you know, like I just saw somebody just had an accident. Like that's out of their control in a way. You know what I mean? Like that just happens, like, unfortunately. But when it comes mostly to stuff like the gym, the consistency is up to you to do it, to go consistently and not really stop or change it up or be smart about it instead of just grinding it out. Because there is also something to be said about consistency, but if you're consistently driving your head into the wall, it's not going to do well. So there is some form of planning. So that's where the other part of programming goes in well. And just generally, you know, you generally want to have a plan when it comes to your consistent works, you know what I mean? Regardless of whether it is in the gym or not. If I consistently hit myself in the balls and trying to get better at resisting getting hit in the balls, yeah, it might work, but also maybe I should do something to look up, hey, how do these guys that could get hit in the balls relatively like hard do it? You know, like let me have a plan and work my way up to it. Not just, hey, I'm just gonna become the best ball hit taker of all time. You know, it just doesn't work like that. You gotta have to have some type of plan. And it's weird to think about having some type of plan, especially when it comes to like other things besides the gym, because I am a key proponent on programming. I think, like I said before, I've made an entire video about it. I'm gonna make more videos about it. But programming is literally the key to going to the gym. Almost everything else can fall by the wayside. You can still go to the gym if you have very little sleep. You can go to the gym if you're starved or too full. You'll throw up, or you'll throw up either way. Regardless of whether or not that happens, if you do not have a program to consistently go to and progress in, you're really not going to do anything. Even with these YouTube videos, I slowly want to make them better and better and make it so that they are easier for me to edit, but as well could provide some sort of value to those who actually watch it. And then there is a level of bingeability that I would like to try to reach with these. Once you get to a certain point, if you like the person enough on a YouTube channel and they have a consistent amount of videos that are similar or if not in nature, you'll end up watching them all at once. And I think that's what I kind of want to do with this series in a way. But also, it all just depends on what other videos get popular and what else. What does the algorithm tell me that is clickable? Although I hate that terminology realistically, just because it's so stupid. You kind of have to hope and pray that it kicks the right buttons, you know? And it's not even like, you can game the system, which is annoying, but I just don't feel like gaming it too much, because I feel like then it's not authentic to who I am. That's another factor, but that's a YouTube factor. I don't want to talk about that here. But to go back about consistency, when it comes to consistency, I think most of it comes down to a combination of planning and also a little bit of willpower, but also just making things become habits, and then making those habits going from habits to becoming passions. I remember watching a Dr. Mike video a long time ago, and he discussed about like going to the gym. The steps that he outlined always resonated with me because it was very accurate. It is, first you get inspiration from something, right? So like, you know, Carl Weathers recently passed away, R.I.P. He had the one scene from Rocky 3, I believe, where he says like, insert it here.
Damn, Rock, come on! What's the matter with you?
Tomorrow. Let's do it tomorrow.
There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
And with that scene, it's very inspirational, but also motivational. So that's the second step. It's inspiration, then motivation. Then I believe it is planning. Then I think it's determination. I forgot what the other one is. But there's inspiration, motivation, planning, execution, and then habit, and then possibly passion. So basically, once you get the inspiration to do something and the motivation to do something, as long as you have a plan to execute whatever your end goal is, and that was started from the inspiration, then you can keep going and then have it consistently go. And then once you have a plan and you consistently go, then it becomes a habit. And then from there, it can turn into a passion, but it could also just stay as a habit. The best example he used for that, and it made sense, was the habit of brushing your teeth. He was like, it's not something, there aren't that many people that are passionate about brushing their teeth, but at the same time, it's a habit that most people do, because if they don't do it, one, it will feel weird. You know, there's some people who just like, you know, that personally, if I don't brush my teeth, it's weird. I'm not a huge fan of it. I like feel like something's off on the entire day. But also that once you get to the habit stage, the willpower that it takes to do something like brushing teeth becomes null and void, because at the end of the day, if I don't do it, I'm the only one that really suffers. When it comes to something like fitness, I'm the only one that really suffers. So when it comes to things like creative works or anything like that, I think consistently working at it, one of the two main steps in order to make anything work is consistency and planning. That's really what it is. I know that being consistent with working out plus being consistent with uploading will get me somewhere. I just have to plan it out a little bit better in my head, or lay out a little bit of a better plan, so that way I can have less of a guessing game when it comes to YouTube videos and stuff, and more of a, all right, I know exactly what's going to work and what isn't going to work. That is the lesson for the day. It's really just talking about consistency and how it is an important thing that I recommend you guys listen to or think about, and think about things that you're consistently with, or what you're constantly trying to do or improve or anything like that. And if there are things that you're constantly doing that don't help you out, or even if you're consistently inconsistent, which is probably the worst of all the worlds, but hey, you're consistently inconsistent about stuff, that's something to work on. You know, there's always stuff to work on, and I think even if I were to gain success from this, there's always more that I can do, always, until there's a certain point where I reach my end, because there is something to be said about there being an end eventually, when it comes to artistic routes, at least. When it comes to something along the lines of like the body, or like physical fitness, or like brushing your teeth, those are habits that'll stay with you for life. And I think there are habits or things, like I had a conversation with Guy the other day, Walter, shout out, which was that basically when you're coming into a new habit that is more of a passion, or like something like a hobby, like for like the arts or something like that, you want to have an end goal. So what is the end goal of it? And I think that'll also help, so then that way you don't achieve burnout or something like that. For this series, the end goal will probably just be me being jacked, but who knows how long that could take, you know what I mean? And what I consider being jacked, so it could be forever. I have my goal body that I will discuss in a different video that it'll actually be coming relatively soon. I'm not 100% sure, but that is a whole discussion topic on its own. But still, regardless, even if I don't reach that, I think it'll always be the thing that eludes me, which is fine, because I'll always be trying to reach up for it, you know? There is necessarily an end goal, quote unquote, but not necessarily a full end goal. I feel like when it comes to something like an artistic pursuit, you kind of have to have an end goal, depending on what you're doing, obviously. But if you don't have one, you can end up getting ramifications of not really burnt out, or like, you know, you're spinning your wheels and you don't really have the passion anymore. I think that helps out a lot. I'm gonna use the example of writing your own book, if it's creative writing, drawing art, you know what I mean, doing commissions or something like that, if it's art, music, making an album, you know, full length, or performing live at X, Y, or Z or something like that. But it is good to have an end goal eventually that you're going to want to achieve, because it'll help you really focus and try to get the planning of what you want to do with it. And there's nothing wrong with just forever having a passion or hobby that doesn't really have an end goal, but you just keep going at it. There's nothing wrong with that. If you ever feel like there's a level of burnout that could possibly happen or something like that, you're consistently having these feelings of like doubt, or like, am I doing something with this? I feel like having an end goal would probably be the best bet, and then that way that'll help you reinvigorate yourself. Like I said, none of this matters if you're not consistent with it. So if you're not constant with it, who cares? Like, you know what I mean? So it is what it is. But with that being said, I will see you on the inside.
All right, so today we start off with squats here. I'm back again at my favorite gym, so we get to use the Olympic weights and stuff. The one with the rack was the only one that was open, so I had to use it, which was a little annoying. I like my shit open, but you know, it is what it is. Not that huge of a deal, because because it's still the Olympic plates and stuff. So that was very nice. So I wanted to go back a little bit because I wanted to close off some thoughts that I had earlier in the car ride that were kind of left open, and I didn't like that. The main thing I wanted to say is that unlike social media, fitness is tied to the self and not some conglomerate, which is a huge difference between something like social media where the power can be taken away or from an audience or something like that, whilst fitness and or just personal hobbies that you do on your own can be controlled by you. You are the master of your own domain. So that is something that is very good about these things. And in fact, social media probably has a negative influence on fitness. A majority of that, the fitness industry tends to do things in a not so healthy standard anyway. This is obviously geared towards the mainstream fitness that you see, the popularity on Instagram, those staying lean, need to be lean forever, supplements, all the gear, all that side of YouTube. More, I would like to consider myself in the niche of the fitness industry, the natural side, or the noble natties as some would call it, those types of people, and not the mainstream, because those people can be really advertising a terrible lifestyle for most people, as well as the body dysmorphia that comes from mainstream fitness. But that's a whole other discussion that we'll have on its own time. But regardless, it is something that is of the self rather than controlled by a conglomerate, and I wanted to close that thought loop because I had left it open earlier, and there you go. The other thing about it is, with consistency, is that you can do something consistently wrong. That is true, actually. That is something that you have to be careful about doing, but as long as you learn from it, it's the most important part. And I think that it needs to be stated over and over again, because there are people out there that will hit their head against the wall multiple times non-stop and do the same things over and over again, repeating the same mistakes. But a little bit of self-reflection, as well as a personal look as to if something is working or not, is the key in order to progress in something, or just make sure that whatever you're consistently doing or constantly working on isn't just for waste or for no real gain to yourself or the world around you. And then to jump off of that, I want to say that there's also nothing wrong for things to just stay as a hobby. So for example, I like to do Gundam model kit building, and that is something that I don't ever plan on making into a passion slash something where I think I'll make money off it, because it's not something that I care to make money off, but it's something that I will keep as a hobby, and I enjoy doing it whenever I get a chance to do it, and I will spend some money on it, but obviously I'm not going to try to turn it into something that it's not. It is one of those things that I do enjoy, and I think it's probably one of the best things for me personally. I enjoy it a lot. I recommend it to other people to at least try it, but at the same time, it's not anything that I would say is end all be all. Fitness is something that I would say most people should do, mostly because lifting weights and exercise in general is good for so many things, not only mentally, but physically as well. If you live longer, all the health benefits, I mean, it's never ending. But with something like model kit making or Gundam making, it's not anything that I would recommend everybody do, but at least you could try it and see if you like it or not, you know? But like I said, it's not a passion of mine. And I think there is something to be said about going from a habit or a hobby to a passion, because then there is that little bit of an extra jump. I would say I'm passionate about fitness, making Gundam as a hobby, and I will make an entire episode about hobbies in general, but I just wanted to just say that before I forgot about it. This gym also has the calf machine that I love, so it happened to be perfect for this. Excellent. Just reinforcing more reasons why this is the best gym in the area as compared to all the other ones. This gym is king. Need to come back here a lot more. So right here, I wanted to discuss this because this was an issue. Basically, I had to end up doing the leg raises here because I tried to use this GHD machine, which I had never used before, but it was so damn high up, it honestly freaked me out. So you can kind of see I try to go back, I'm like preparing myself, and I'm like, nope, I nope out of it so hard. I just cannot do it. I was like, mentally, there was just something there that was just a mental block that I could not do it for some reason or another, and it just sucked. It really did. And as we move on here to the final exercise of the day, I just want to say that consistency with planning combining together and creating a synergistic energy that will keep you forward and let you move on and keep doing things in life. But you gotta grow that consistency muscle. Being consistent with stuff sucks, but it takes a little bit of time, discipline, and willpower. But as time progresses and discipline gets stronger, it becomes less of a willpower thing and more of like a muscle. It gets stronger and stronger, so you don't need to use the willpower anymore. You'll become consistent with anything that you want to become consistent with.
And we're back. Welcome to the workout debriefing. Exercise is not filmed. None. Exercises skipped. None. We got everything in, and it was a great workout. They had my favorite calf machine, which was awesome, so I didn't have to worry about that. That was kind of great. Right now, I am pretty tired. I'm feeling it a lot right now, but I'm off to my brother's house saying hello for a little bit, then I'm off to editing. But besides that, I wanted to end off what I was talking about earlier because I thought of an analogy that works out with what I have said before in previous videos, where I have said, quote, programming is king. I thought to myself, how could I combine the analogy with something else? And I thought consistency is queen, and that is how they both will go together, and probably the name of this episode. Because realistically, if you think of it like in a game of chess, the king is powerful, it is almighty. Without it, you cannot play the game, but it cannot move very quickly, and on its own, it is kind of defenseless. But the queen can go anywhere. It can do anything on the chessboard. It is the strongest piece on the board, but without it, the game will continue. So it is a combination of combining the two together. It makes a powerful group and unit. There is something to be said about synergistic energy that is combining a king and a queen, and or the two sides of the coin there is lost on a lot of people nowadays, but that's a whole other discussion. But with that being said, I do like that analogy that consistency is queen while programming is king for not only just the gym but a lot of things in life. So that is subject matter for today. Tell me what you think about consistency. Are there things that you do consistently all the time that don't lead to anything? Or are there things that you do consistently that have led to things that you're like, oh, hey, I can do this now or that or something along those lines? But tell me what you think. Let me know in the comments down below. Please like and share and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. I will be back on most likely tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching again. I will see you on the next one. Peace.